Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel, and this short video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous night of the local time. And first we're going to start with Avdiivka. According to information we have, as a result of clashes during the previous days and storm operation, the Russians managed to establish control over the railways that goes on the west from Krasnogorovka and on the west of the Terikon. So this territory is under Russian control. And during the previous few days, the Russians were digging in deeper on these positions, trying to prepare the foothold for further offensive operation. Other sources are saying that the Russians have already crossed the railways and currently try to move further along the tree lines on the Ukrainian side of these railways, but yet we haven't received even a single video confirmation that the Russians managed to do this. But the thing that we got some geolocations, and the geolocations we had are coming mainly from the northern direction. If you remember, a few days ago we discussed this area already, and the Russians published a very interesting video how they managed to cross the railways with a very powerful and a very big tank fist. And as a result of offensive operation, probably the Russians managed to establish control over some trenches, fortifications, shelters and tree lines on the Ukrainian side of the railways that goes on the north of Krasnogorovka. Yesterday we discussed the video how the Russians were bombing and attacking the Ukrainian forces below the bridge that also located in this area. Also very interesting video, and as a result of those bombardments and FPV drone strikes, the entire Ukrainian group took a decision to withdraw their positions, and basically they ran away trying to save their lives. So those were the videos about something like the things that happened in this area. And when talking about today, we got another video from this area, a very powerful video as well. The Russians were bombing and shelling all this area with artillery rounds, with different types of weapons, with multi-launch rocket systems. The Russians were attacking this territory with mortar positions, with mortar fire, and so on. And according to, I believe you can recognize this area. This video was geolocated. It's very difficult to understand where exactly these events, if these bombardments took place. Maybe these bombardments took place before the Russian tank attack, maybe during the tank attack, maybe after, maybe the Russians took a decision to retreat after that tank attack. Very difficult to understand, but the most important is that the Russians are focused in this area, and this focused we can see using the geolocated videos. We don't have any geolocations from the railways between Krasnogorovka and Berdichi, but we have a lot of geolocations on the north of Krasnogorovka. That episode also very important. As you can see, according to bombardments, the Russians are bombing not just the area along the railways, but also the Russians are bombing the territory on the north and deep inside of Ukrainian territory. Furthermore, on the last seconds of the video, we can see the bombardments. This is like chemical plant on the left corner, and this is Berdichi. The Russians are bombing, as you can see on the horizon, Berdichi and this village by the name of Stepova. So I have added all those bombardments on the map. So the Russians were bombing this area, exactly the territory where the Russians a few days ago managed to cross these railways and to attack the Ukrainian positions. Maybe the Russians after took a decision to step back. The Russians were bombing this area between the small lake and the railways. Maybe the Ukrainians had some reserves or were trying to send some reinforcements to the railways, trying to stop the Russian progress and the Russian advances. And the Russians were bombing the area between Berdichi and Stepova, somewhere in this area in the final seconds of the video. So according to all these geolocations, we see that currently the Russians on the northern flank are trying to develop, when talking about the global scope, their offensives in direction of Novokalinova and in direction of Berdichi-Stepova. We haven't received nothing about any clashes, any attempts to attack in direction of the chemical plant. Furthermore, the Ukrainian sources reported that the Ukrainians took a decision to increase the number of forces inside of Avdiivka. According to information we have, currently there are 8,000 soldiers inside of Avdiivka, and as I understand, this is number just about the forces that located from chemical plant to Tsarskaya Akhota fortification on the south. This number doesn't include the forces that located in the villages and the fortifications that locate Acheretina, that located around Avdiivka. And the Ukrainians are planning to increase the number of forces from 8,000 till 30,000, so almost 4 times more. They're planning to keep their 4 times bigger army. So this is another meat grinder, and as I understand, if the Ukrainians are planning to keep 30,000, that means that during the battle for Avdiivka, the Ukrainians will be forced to use up to 100,000 soldiers in this area. This battle is going to be very long, and this battle is going to take a lot of time. But anyway, no matter how long the battle is going to take to be, obviously this is going to be a battle in cauldron, when the Ukrainian forces will be cut from the mainland. The main supply roads will be under complete Russian fire, and the Ukrainians are going. So this is going to be, when talking about the configuration of the battle, the same situation as we saw in Bakhmut. Also, the Russian sources published the video how they managed to discover and to destroy another Ukrainian tank somewhere on the southern Avdiivka direction in the vicinity of Lastochkina. As a result of FPV drone strike, the Ukrainian tank that was attacking the Russians from hidden position was destroyed with 3 FPV drones. The Ukrainians used for those purposes 3 FPV drones. So the battle for Avdiivka continues. Today, I believe we're going to see more updates from this area. So let's see. Also, more important updates are coming from Rabotina area, Rabotina-Verbova area. The Ukrainians continue losing tanks in this area. If we increase the number of days, let's say from the 23rd of October, so basically for this week, we're gonna say that Ukrainians lost a few dozens of tanks and armored vehicles on this area. Today we got more videos, more geolocations. For example, on this video we can see how another Ukrainian tank was destroyed as a result of a strike of anti-tank missile. As you can see, white dots on the map is a tank who was moving along the tree lines, and at some point that tank was attacked by the Russian anti-tank missile, and basically that tank was destroyed. Another tank was damaged and destroyed on the eastern part of Rabotina. The Russians attacked, in this case the Russians were using FPV drones for strike, and as a result of a strike we see that another armored vehicle was destroyed. I'll remind you that during the previous 2 days the Ukrainians have already lost 2 Leopards, and during the previous night and yesterday another 2. So at least we have 4 confirmed geolocations of lost Leopards on this direction. Now we're moving to Kherson area. We haven't received almost nothing from this area, almost anything, just a few geolocations how the Russians were bombing the Ukrainian positions in the vicinity of the bridge, of the railway bridge that located between Oleshki, that located between Pridniprovskaya and Pishanovka. The Ukrainians are using this area as a foothold. They're trying to concentrate their forces to dig in deeper. The Russians see everything and attack them. The only thing that we need to mention and to understand that Ukrainians continue developing their positions, and they're moving further. They're moving and moving further, and currently we can say that they managed to improve their positions and managed to create more trenches and fortifications further to the south along the railways in direction of Pishanovka. And this is exactly what the Ukrainians are planning to do. They are not able to attack, they don't have fortifications, they're not going to storm Pishanovka. They will dig in. They will just build fortifications. They will build underground tunnels, they will build underground facilities, and they will move, let's say, and everything will be built along the bridge. And before the next summer, as I understand, they will be able to create a very powerful line of fortifications and trenches that they will use for redeployment of forces from one part of this area to another. So this is the plans of the Ukrainians. Of course, they're going to need a lot of time, and there are very high chances that before they continue building these trenches, the Ukrainians will lose this special military operation in war. And that's it for this short video. Military Summary channel reminds you to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes to my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.